Well, as weeks go in football, the last 7 days couldn't have gone much better for Argyle. Dumping Liverpool out of the Cup, getting Man City away in the next round, and then climbing off the foot of the table with their biggest win in 18 months. The momentum is well and truly with them. Confidence must be at an all-time high, but the position they are in is still precarious. In the bottom three and going away to a side with a point to prove. Blackburn are managerless at the moment, but are well placed for a first playoff finish since their relegation 13 years ago. However, with a win this afternoon and with results going their way, Argyle could be out of the relegation zone at 5 o'clock tonight. A huge afternoon of Sky Bet Championship action then for you. Hello, I am Charlie Price. This is the pre-match show on Matchday Live, and after 9 weeks spent at the foot of the table, there was a little bit of joy on Wednesday night, wasn't there? Argyle climbing off the foot of the division, getting their third straight win, their second consecutive win in the league for the first time this season. And with all of that going on, there is a little bit of belief around the club at the moment. The Muslich miracle, some are calling it. Will they be able to make it 4 wins in a row today, and in doing so, getting out of the bottom three if results go their way? Well, you won't miss a beat with us here on Argyle TV. You can get your match passes right now. They're available online, pafc.co.uk. Both audio and video streaming passes are available to get from there. Well, helping me out this afternoon on Argyle TV is a former Argyle striker, Ian Stonebridge. And Ian, are you feeling the Muslich miracle could be on the cards?
Yes, amazing how the transformation, isn't it? I think maybe the confidence we go into today's game with, following events recently, is fantastic. You know, turnaround that I think not many people have predicted, but equally it was a real luxury, wasn't it, in midweek to go so comfortably ahead in a game that you kind of were able to just relax slightly. Feels like maybe a long time since we've had that. So no, brilliant, and long may it continue. Yeah,
a strange feeling for Argyle fans, I think, that to be able to feel comfortable in a game. But it's been remarkable it's probably been 2 weeks, hasn't it? If you think of the West Brom game onwards, maybe even the Sunderland one, where there just seems to be a completely different feel around the football club.
Yeah, we keep mentioning it. I think if you like, that intro speech that the head coach gave, the things he said then about clarity and about that continuity of information and the how the team would understand what he was going to try and put across, but that he was going to drip that in gradually. It certainly feels like they're benefiting from that approach, and the organisation and the outcome of that on the pitch has been fantastic so far.
Just on kind of stringing a few results together, it has been brought around with a slightly different style than maybe we've seen before. Maybe a style that could be used away from home and be effective away from home as well.
Yeah, maybe we felt that under previous coaches, the transition between home and away styles of play, if you like, and approaches to the game was a bit of a problem, and away results were problematic because of that, perhaps. But yeah, certainly here a slightly more pragmatic approach to the home games, and some success from that should stand them in good stead. Like you say, I think certainly this style of playing, slightly more direct, willingness to really defend as a team, hopefully will be successful.
Yeah, well, let's hope they are today for sure. Let's have a look at the team that Miran Muslich has selected for this afternoon's game. There it is, up on the screen now. Just a couple of changes made from the win on Wednesday night. Timotheus Puhac comes back into the side to missing out. Nathaniel Better played quite well, but he's in. And there's also a swap in midfield with Darko JB in for Jordan Houghton, who drops to the bench. No real surprises, I imagine, Ian, looking at that?
No, not really. I think the way the team's been playing, and obviously that shape that we're becoming used to, I think the personnel certainly makes sense for that, and it's a positive selection, bearing in mind the form of certain players in recent games.
Yeah, Jordan Houghton may be feeling slightly unlucky that he misses out today, but it's like for like in there. JB maybe brings a little bit of extra energy, and I think bit more mobility.
The other thing is we're not kind of privy to the data and the other conversations that might be happening. It could be a decision based around kind of workload and fitness that is a sensible decision. I know the head coach has been talking about how he needs to retain players' fitness and avoid overworking them from an injury perspective, because they're going to need everyone, all hands on deck for the rest of the season.
Yeah, the Argyle players just taking in the surroundings a little bit earlier on. Matty Soronola's been a player, Ian, hasn't he, of late, that has just really stepped up. There's been a few of them. Jordan Houghton probably counted in that as well. But the form of Soronola is keeping the likes of Barley Mumba out of the side at the moment. How impressed have you been with that sort of attitude around the players, especially?
Yeah, it's been brilliant to see, Matty Soronola. His attitude, I think, has always been there. So I remember very soon after he joined, celebrating, really being involved in the team spirit and getting involved with the fans. And I think his performance has always struck me as kind of all action. He's always involved. He's physically competitive, but he's really stepped it up, I think, defensively recently. And again, whether that's a player who's benefiting from that clarity of approach that the new head coach has brought, I think perhaps that's the case. But his willingness to defend, put his body on the line. We've seen some of those last-ditch interceptions and clearances that have been fantastic. And workload-wise, I think whether he's still famous for those breakdowns with cramp late in the game. Yeah. Don't begrudge him that with the work he's getting through. But I'm sure that amongst the fitness staff and nutrition, they can get something sorted that helps him with that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a funny thing, wasn't there, with Talavierov going in after a big celebration to stop him with cramp. Just sticking with defenders, because that's been a big plus point since Muslic has come in. Is just kind of shoring up the defence, and a lot has been made of the two centre backs that have come in. Nikola Katic, in particular, he got his first goal actually on Wednesday, but he's just a classic sort of no nonsense centre back, isn't he? That must be really difficult to play against as a forward.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, we talked today about perhaps what Blackburn are going to bring. I'm sure we'll talk a bit more about their threat shortly, but he probably relishes that physical challenge of someone coming right up against him and trying to compete with him in that respect. Maybe not the quickest, but again, it's that organisation. And I think having him in the middle of that three at the back, his experience, his knowledge of the game, his ability to kind of dominate and communicate with teammates, I think has been key. And the clearances and the headers, in no small part, have contributed to the positive results. I think that willingness to get rid of the ball, and that showing to his teammates as well. It's okay to clear it properly at times, where maybe under previous approaches there's been more of a willingness or a reluctance maybe to get rid of it, get it away from danger, because we want to retain possession or we want to build from the back. I think at the moment we're seeing as we say, maybe a slightly more pragmatic approach to, right, we're defending, that's our job, that's first and foremost what we're going to do, and if there's an opportunity to get rid of the ball, we're going to take it in no uncertain terms and make a big thing of that. And sometimes that has been celebrating that aspect of defending. And again, I think as long as they continue to be successful, no one will make any complaints about that. Yeah,
he's going to come up against quite a big striker today. Mukhtar Gay leads the line for Blackburn Rovers, who got a terrific win over West Bromwich Albion on Wednesday night. It was only their second victory in their last 7 matches. They, of course, had a change at the top with John Eustace leaving for Derby County in the week. David Lowe, who's been at the club since 2011, is in temporary charge at the moment, but he is 1 from 1 and has a home game today to look forward to. And here is their side for this afternoon's game. Quite a few more changes made by David Lowe than Miron Muslic, 4 in total. Dion Sanderson comes in at the back. Danny Bath had to come off with a knock in the last game. There is also a start for former Argyle midfielder Adam Forshaw in the middle of midfield. We expect them to line up in a 4-2-3-1, similar to how they have done all season. Interesting to see Forshaw in there. He's not been a regular by any stretch of the imagination since he's joined Blackburn, but you quite often see this, don't you? Former players put in against their old side. And we know if he's on form, he's a quality player, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. I think at times at Argyle he was able to show his experience, and perhaps at particular points in games come on and do a job, as it were. But I think that notion of playing someone against a former team and their willingness, if you like, to try and prove themselves and show them what those fans are missing, that you can understand the decision to put him in the team today.
We mentioned Maktar Gay. He scored both goals against West Brom on Wednesday night. He's got 3 goals in his last 5 games. He is a big physical presence, Ian, that will give Talaviero and Katic a bit of a battle today, I think.
Yeah, definitely. The battle for aerial dominance in the box is going to be a really important one. You can see from some of these finishes how he's, absolutely not afraid to go up against centre backs, really try and dominate them physically, get full contact. He's strong, but likewise has that technical ability to finish as well, and he's a real danger for them. And I think we mentioned on the breakfast show this morning, the need for Argyle not to only worry about his threat, but it might also be some other attacking players that are able to feed off some of his link-up plays. But yeah, no doubt he's a big threat. Yeah,
one of the other changes sees Todd Cantwell come in for Andy Vyman. We've seen Vyman in a couple of these clips actually laying on assists for Gay. He's obviously a player that's played at the top level as well. Todd Cantwell played in the Premier League with Norwich. He was actually spoken about in quite high regard when they first got promoted, that sort of kind of classy player. And he has the ability. He's one of those players I imagine that you're talking about that, if you focus too much on stopping Maktar Gay, he's got the ability to hurt.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Cantwell's got that willingness to run, willingness to go beyond attackers, technical skill and ability to make an opportunity for himself to shoot, maybe on the edge of the box. But he's, again, a lively player, someone who, as you say, has played at that top level, maybe is, I don't know if it's too harsh to say he's lost his way a little bit recently. Certainly hasn't necessarily been a regular, but he'll be desperate to prove himself. And that change of head coach, change of manager situation that they're going through, again, puts the onus on the players to, put themselves in the shop window, both in the respect of, right, someone comes in, I want to prove that I'm going to be part of the plans, or equally, if things change, I need to be, right on my top form to secure a move somewhere else if that's what's appropriate. But yeah, he'll be looking to influence the game today, and as we say, that combination of Gay up top and Cantwell could be a thorn in Argyle's side today.
Yeah, could well be, but Argyle have coped in the last couple of weeks, that is for sure, and it's been a pretty incredible last 14 days or so for Miran Muslic, who seems to be getting a tune out of this Argyle side at the moment. As ever, though, he was pretty pragmatic after Wednesday night's victory over Millwall. Despite the fact it was by such a big margin, he of course was pleased to. The first 10-minute blitz was just remarkable. To be 2-0 up inside 10 minutes against a side who have the 6th best defence in the league. That's the start dreams are made of, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure, but that was also the plan, to go outside and to set the tone from the first whistle, to put a lot of pressure. We knew if we can keep our structure that we can have some moments in transition, and I think the structure was there again. And then creating goal-scoring opportunity against a team that kept clean sheets like nothing. I think 5 of the last 6 games shows just the strong performance tonight.
Yeah, you mentioned about kind of backing up what happened on Sunday, and we were speaking in the week about how you do that, how you could keep the momentum going. You obviously would want to keep that going for as long as possible, but how pleasing is it to see that Sunday wasn't the top performance of the season? They won again.
Very much, and that's the most difficult part. That's why I'm very, very happy and very, very proud, because it's not easy to find ground again after Liverpool. But I think we as staff been very, very clear to the lads that it was a historical moment. No one will ever take this away from us, but we have to move on and we have to collect points in our competition and we have to win, and we did it.
The $1,000,000 question will be, how can we continue this going into Blackburn, which is just a couple of days away? It is just a couple of days away, but you can't be going in any better shape than we are at the moment, mentally anyway.
Mentally and also physically, we have to find again a good balance. We have to readapt the team again. Today, Plegi was out, Pushka was out, but Neti and Victor did it fantastic. That's what I'm always saying. It's never about the first 11. It's about the team and it's about the whole squad, and everybody is involved and everybody is ready to give it all. That's why I'm very, very confident and looking forward for the next games.
Speaking after the Millwall game, of course, just picking up on one of the things you said, Ian, about being so impressed by the fact that the players were able to get themselves up again after such what would have been a monumental high on Sunday. And not only that, but come out and be 2-0 up after 10 minutes in the game as well. That's quite impressive, isn't it, to have that sort of reaction after that sort of high?
Yeah, it is. I think there's the public noise around the game, the Liverpool game. Obviously, how historic that was as a victory, and fantastic it is for the club to get through to the next round as well. But I'm sure they will have, made no secret of the fact that it's the league that's really then the vital thing. And I know that it was mentioned in all of the kind of post-match press conferences. But I also liked that he also highlighted the need to enjoy that moment and to at least try to appreciate the magnitude of it, which is really important, because that confidence that you gain from thinking about that game and realising what's been achieved by the squad and the team on the day can be then taken into that next game. And it looked like they really did that in such a huge way. And as he said, the way they started that, the pressure, the being on the front foot, that momentum they were able to build at the start of the game in the week was fantastic, and they got the reward.
Are you at all surprised at how kind of stark the turnaround has been? And I'm going to go just from the last 3 weeks. If you go back exactly 3 weeks from Wednesday night, we got beaten 5-0 at home against Burnley. Now, granted, Burnley are one of the best teams in the league, but that's not a huge amount of time to have pretty much reversed a performance and score 5 at home as well. Are you at all sort of surprised by the speed in which that has been done? Yeah,
I think so. I mean, pleasantly surprised, obviously. The timing of it and the combination perhaps of those new signings as well, the impact they've made at the back there has been a huge part, obviously, of the success they've had in those recent games. And I think the manager as well will probably be, again, pleasantly surprised himself how quickly he's been able to make that change, if you like. So the combination of clarity, that change of approach, which seems to be more, as we say, more pragmatic, more direct, but has been successful so far, and those players coming in and really hitting the ground running, it's almost like it's been a perfect storm for Argyle in terms of things going well. A few of those things might not have worked, and we might not be sitting here, with that same optimism, but at the moment it has, and as we say, we really hope that can continue and that they can show some of that today.
Absolutely. Well, as mentioned earlier, Blackburn are currently without a permanent head coach, with the news that John Eustace left to go to one of his former clubs that he played for, Derby County, on Thursday. Former Wigan and Ipswich winger David Lowe is in temporary charge, and here he is talking about this afternoon's game.
Lowe, how good is it to be going back to Ewood Park on Saturday on the back of that performance and result in midweek?
Yeah, we're all looking forward to it. I think it's fair to say it was a really good performance from the lads. Hopefully we can take that to Ewood on Saturday, which will be a very tough game for us against Plymouth. But hopefully we can show the same commitment, same passion, same enthusiasm, because we're going to be in for a big game against them. We know that. We've started prepping the boys today and obviously tomorrow, so they've got a full idea what to expect when they come to Ewood on Saturday.
You've alluded to the challenge that we'll face at the weekend. How tough will it be against a Plymouth side that really seems to have found a little bit of form of late?
It's tough. It'll be tough. There's no doubt about that. They're an aggressive team. Out of possession, they will look to press you. In possession, they're quite direct. So we will prep the players on what to expect from them. And then obviously when the players are on the field, they've got to be able to deal with whatever problems they come against.
Just finally, Lowe, you've been at this football club for a long time now. What does it mean to you to have the opportunity at kind of Ewood Park to sort of lead the team, and what has it meant to you, the sort of the response from the supporters for what you've done last couple of days?
It's been fantastic, and I'd like to thank the supporters for the support, to be honest, which has been really good. Going to Ewood, obviously I've been there many a time as a coach. Now I'm obviously going there as the head coach, shall we say. I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully we can generate a performance which the fans can go away and be proud of, and hopefully we come away with 3 points.
He certainly got a good reaction from the players on Wednesday in his first game in charge. Just on John Eustace, what do you make of that move to go to Derby?
Yeah, it's an interesting situation. I guess the assumption we make is that there's stuff going on behind the scenes that we aren't aware of. Although the move, I think geographically, I think Eustace is from the Midlands, and so it suits him perhaps from a family perspective in that sense. But you'd be surprised if there wasn't something else that's happened that's caused him to want to move on so soon. And I guess football's like that in terms of the politics. And if he felt that something was holding him back, and then there's someone else that shows they really want you as a person, as a head coach. Again, you can understand someone really wanting to go where they feel that they're wanted, as opposed to maybe somewhere where they're not getting that cooperation that they want. But yeah, without knowing details behind the scene, it's difficult to speculate.
Yeah.
But maybe we hope it's a benefit to Argyle, the slight instability there at the moment.
And that's quite an interesting point, I think, because naturally you would say, well, if a manager leaves, is there going to be like this reaction from the players? But that's normally because it's been a negative, isn't it? Like if a coach quite often leaves because it's gone badly, and then the players are going to react for any new coach coming in, which they will do, of course, with this one. But it's a slightly different scenario than what is the norm, isn't it, when a manager leaves? So
yeah,
it will be interesting.
I think it is, and it may be in contrast to Argyle, who have got this consistency that they seem to be building, clarity of approach, consistency of personnel and players. You maybe feel that Blackburn are suffering from the opposite, perhaps. We hope they are. Equally, though, the person in charge is clearly someone with a long history at the club. Players will want to work hard and play well for his sake, as well as the fans. And it's always a bit of an unknown quantity, I think, when a club's in that type of situation. The reaction that the players may or may not give. Sometimes it's that new manager bounce that happens after someone's appointed. They're obviously in that kind of slightly uncertain interim period at the moment, and yeah, we hopefully we can capitalise on that today. What do you think is going to happen today then, Ian? Yeah, I'm confident. As you said, the approach that we've been taking tactically would seem to suit away performances as well. I'm sure if that organisation is apparent and the work rate, maybe not as many goals as we had in the week, perhaps. We can hope. We can hope. But all we need is one and a clean sheet to get the 3 points, and yeah, I think we're well capable of achieving that today. It would be something, wouldn't it, if Argyle could get a fourth straight win? They haven't done that since the year we were promoted back in 2023. Will it happen today? Well, we are pretty much done. We'll be back at half-time, of course, to debrief everything that has happened in the game so far. But a reminder that match passes can be bought online right now. Head to pafc.co.uk. But it's almost time to join our commentary team at Ewood Park. That's former Argyle defender Guy Branston and Nathan Albon. Argyle's trip to Blackburn is next.